when I was still at Baruch, I was approached by this group of child welfare social service agencies who said, you know, there's about 90 of us in the state, and we provide child welfare services to kids. You know, these are poor kids who in foster care or congregate. You know, they foster care in New York City, and then upstate. You know, like Boys Town, where like the kids live in a shelter, like in a farm upstate, like stuff like congregate housing. It's called. It's fun. I didn't know anything about it either when they asked me. We want you to sort of do an analysis of our financial condition, and you know, we'll give you access to everyone. We'll give you access to financial information. So okay, and so as part of that, to go back to one of the things that I teach, financial management, one of the things that I did with a colleague at Baruch was we interviewed all the chief financial officers or the equivalent at these organizations. And in the core financial management course, and you survived it, so we bring this stuff up. You know, we go through some sort of basic things that you should, as an organization, do in order to have a better likelihood of success. But these are common practices that are associated with good financial management. So again, the implication is good financial management will lead to better outcomes. So things like having a board that actually checks the budget and the finances of the organization. So what are some things that you would want to see as a nonprofit manager? Well, you would want your board, so not you making decisions with no oversight, someone checking it. Well, over 90% of them have that. How often does the committee meet? I mean, if you have that committee that's overseeing your finances but they're not meeting, then you don't really have the governance structure. So this is really about governance. Well, and if you look at it, almost all of them meet quarterly, monthly, or every other month. Well, that means that the board is at least looking at financial information quarterly to monthly or every other month. Okay. So then the next thing was, what about variance reports? So variance, would you like to jump in? What's a variance? No, I'm kidding. He took 1020. He took financial management, so he knows what a variance report is. A variance report is where you take the budget and you compare it to what actually happened. So the budget is the plan. You compare it to what actually happened. This allows you to react if there's a problem or if there's an opportunity. So this is one of the basic things you will see as a manager if you haven't already. And you need to run these frequently, monthly perhaps, in order to see if there's a problem financially. So maybe they're not running variance reports. But look, only 6% never run the variance report. Okay. So what does all of this mean if you're already like, I've never taken financial management, what does all of this mean? This means that in general, the idea that nonprofit managers have no idea of how to run a business does not make sense. Because they do know how to run a business, because they have governance and they've got the management tools in place that we would argue you need to have in order to be financially successful, or at least have a higher probability of financial success. And so then the question is, so what's really going on? You know, why are these organizations still, you know, struggling financially? And what we found in this piece of research, and I don't know if you would be able to apply it across other subsectors of the nonprofit sector. Now I'm going to close this because now we're done. You don't need to see it anymore. That governments actually rely upon private money to provide a public good. So in the case of child welfare agencies, the argument is that these private agencies have private resources, and the government knows that, and so they are able to effectively structure the financial arrangement with the nonprofit service providers so that the service providers have to use private money, whether they're donations, whether it's endowment money, borrowing, reserves, to use the money to fund this thing that is a public good.